Now, having the channel, I obviously get to test out lots of different gear, including lots of different shoes from different brands and different models, from deeply cushioned road shoes all the way back to super stripped back grippy trail shoes. And over the years, I've built up a pretty substantial collection to the point where I think I'm going to need to get a bigger flat soon because I'm running out of space where to store them. A really common question I get asked by you guys is what shoes are in my current rotation. So I thought this was a perfect opportunity to answer that topic in this video, and it's something that I've never covered on the channel before. So let's jump in and see which shoes have made the cut and are in my current running shoe rotation. Welcome back, folks. I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure. Hope everybody's had a good day and it's great to have you guys back. If it is your first time watching the channel, then welcome. It's awesome to have you along and I really hope you enjoy the video. By running shoe rotation, I mean that I have a sort of particular shoe that I'm going to use for a particular session. Now, obviously, I know I'm in a very fortunate place and I've got lots of shoes to choose from, and not everybody is as lucky as that. And they might only have one running shoe that they use for everything, which is perfectly fine. But I do think rotating your shoes is a good thing. I think it breaks up the repetition of running. You know, it is a very repetitive sport, but also I think it's good to have specific shoes for specific sessions. You know, a shoe that's a bit lighter, a bit more responsive for your faster session, and then maybe a shoe that's a bit more cushioned for your longer sort of recovery runs. Anybody that follows the channel knows that I spend a lot of my training time out on the stunning trails of Cornwall, but I do venture out onto the tarmac now and again, and I probably do 1 or 2 runs a week on the hard stuff. So let's go through my current road shoe choices, and I'm going to break it down into 3 sections. So we're going to start with recovery sessions. So that's where I'm just going to go out for a nice steady run, shake the legs off after maybe a tougher session. Structured sessions, that's where I'm going to work some speed in, whether it be intervals, tempos, or speed work, things like that. And then finally, we have the long stuff. And if I'm honest, I haven't been doing a lot of long runs on the road at the moment. Coming back from niggles and injuries, I know it's such a tough environment to run distance on. So I tend to be taking those longer runs on the softer, more forgiving trails. Now, testing out lots of shoes for up and coming reviews obviously takes up a lot of my weekly training miles. And whenever we test anything at Run4Adventure, we want to do it properly. So we want to get lots of miles in that item before we bring you guys a full in-depth review. So currently for my daily trainer, I'm kind of rotating between REEBOK's FLOATRIDE Energy 4s and the PEGASUS 39 from Nike. I think both of these models fit that sort of daily workhorse role really well. I think after the last couple of runs, maybe the REEBOK shoe is slightly got the edge. I think it feels a bit lighter and feels a bit more responsive, and I still can't believe I only paid £56 for these shoes. We've got a couple more runs to do in the FLOATRIDEs, and then we'll be bringing you guys our full in-depth review. Next up is my choice for those quicker runs, so where I want to get some real quality out of the session, and I've got a couple of choices for runs like this. The first one being the fantastic ENDORPHIN Speed 2 from Saucony, a great lightweight, well-balanced performance shoe. We've got that fantastic Power Run PB midsole with the rocker geometry, and I actually find it hard to run slowly in this shoe. You know, all them features really do sort of want to push you along and help you along the way. This is a shoe that is set up to handle those higher tempo training sessions with that speed roll technology and that fantastic compound in the midsole. My other choice for these faster sessions, and if I'm honest, I don't take these out in training that often. I tend to save them for best because they are pretty expensive, but it is Nike's speed machine, the VAPORFLY Next Percent 2. You know, this is one of the running shoes that really shocked me the first time I took it out of the box, laced it up and took it for a run. I'd previously had a pair of their Alpha Flies and I really didn't get on with that shoe. I think it was a little bit too bonkers for my liking, and I felt too high off the floor. It felt really unstable around corners, and you know, it just didn't feel like I was running in a running shoe. It was more like running on a small trampoline. I was kind of thinking that the VAPORFLYs would run in a very similar way, and how wrong could I have been? You know, from that first session where I ran 3 1-mile reps, the shoe kind of blew me away with its performance. It just felt so comfortable, it fitted my foot shape so well, And I really did feel like I was getting a kind of unfair advantage because it just felt so quick. So every now and again, I'll stick it on for a training session just to remind me how fantastic it feels to run in these shoes, and it never fails to put a big smile on my face. I personally think it's one of the best marathon day shoes ever made, and it is definitely my race day shoe of choice. Last up, when it comes to road running shoes, is those longer runs, and I tend not to run much further than half marathon on the road because it really does beat my body up and I do feel it a few days afterwards. My shoe of choice for these runs is definitely New Balance's FUELCELL Rebel V2. And to be honest, I could probably do all my road running in this shoe because it is so versatile. It's super lightweight, very comfortable, wrapped around my foot. Weight-wise, it doesn't weigh much more than a race day shoe, even though it is a daily trainer. Has to be one of the best uppers that I've ever put on my foot. You know, I can hardly feel I'm wearing it, but I still feel really well held around that midfoot and in the heel. And then you have that super comfy, highly responsive, energy returning FUELCELL midsole that can pretty much handle every single session you throw at it and do it extremely well. The one thing I would say is it is a very neutral training shoe, and by that I mean there's not a lot of substance or structure at the midfoot, and this FUELCELL compound is super squishy and soft. So if you're not running off a strong neutral gait and you do need a bit of substance, or you run quite dominant on a heel strike, then maybe this wouldn't be the most stable training shoe for you. If you do run off a neutral gait and you're looking for a shoe that's going to do every session, you know, your tempos, intervals, speed work, recovery runs, daily mileage, then this really will handle all those sessions and do them extremely well. So there you have it, my current road running shoe rotation, and obviously this might change from time to time when we've got other shoes coming in to be tested. But now we're going to move on to my sort of trail running shoe side of my rotation, and again we're going to break this down into 3 sections. The first being the shoes that I might use for those shorter, faster, more technical runs, and again there's a couple of options here. The first of which is Saucony's new PEREGRINE 12s. Now, I've been a big fan of the PEREGRINE franchise for a lot of years, and I've put a lot of miles into these shoes. I personally think the current version is the best version for a while. Saucony made the shoe a lot lighter, they stripped it back a bit, removed a lot of the padding from the ankle collar and the heel and the tongue, and I think it's brought the PEREGRINE back to life. This really is a great trail shoe for those shorter, quicker, more technical runs. You feel really dialed in, really connected underfoot, and then you've got that great sticky Power Track rubber outsole, offering great levels of grip and traction on pretty much every surface. If I'm going out for a shorter, faster run and it's going to be a bit of a bog fest, say in the depths of winter, then I might opt for something like inov-8's X-Talon Ultra 260. Not that the outsole is bad on the PEREGRINE, but this really has a super deep, very chunky lug design, and it's perfectly set up for those really muddy, boggy, sticky conditions. But I'd say for most of my shorter, more technical runs, I'm rocking these bad boys. If I'm planning on running a little bit further on a big mix of different terrains, then I tend to opt for Salomon's Ultra Glides. When they released this shoe, it was a bit of a revelation to me because I'd always been a massive fan of how their uppers fitted my foot shape, but I had found that their midsoles were getting firmer and firmer and firmer over the years, to the point where I just stopped running in their shoes. So it was great to get my foot on this new Surge compound from Salomon, and to be back in a Salomon shoe with that foot hugging upper, but with enough soft plush cushioning in that midsole to handle longer distances. The only reason I use the Ultra Glides for those sort of mid-distance runs is because I stuck with a UK 9.5. It felt fine, really nice fit on my foot shape for those shorter runs, but when I used it for the Salomon Serpent Trail 50k, after 20 miles, it did feel a little bit snug, and those last 10 miles weren't the most pleasant 10 miles I've ever run, and my poor toes took a bit of a hammering. Next time round, I'll definitely go up to a UK 10, and that'll give me a little bit more expansion room, and I'm sure it will sort out those issues. I've heard a few runners saying about that Surge midsole flattening off really quickly. I haven't really had that happen in my pair. It still feels nice and soft, still feels nice and bouncy under the forefoot. Obviously it's compressed a bit, it doesn't feel like it felt when I first took it out of the box, but still plenty of cushioning left yet. And this is another trail shoe that is definitely in the running, especially when I get a UK 10 for the shoe that I'm going to use at this year's TDS. And last but not least, as far as the long stuff goes, all those long runs I've been doing in Hoka's new Speedgoat 5. I've got a lot of history with this model of shoe and it has helped me through many a challenging race over the years. But I also think coming back from that ankle injury and all those setbacks, that it's really helped me to sort of build the miles up again, and it's also helped with building the confidence up when it comes to my body and running distance. I think the level of cushioning in that midsole is just right for me when it comes to my longer training runs or races. I think it can pretty much handle any type of terrain that you throw at it. Even on the technical trails, I still feel pretty well connected for a deeply cushioned trail running shoe. And then you've got to throw in that fantastic Vibram Mega Grip rubber outsole, confidence building, super sticky. You've also got those 5mm staggered lugs on there, and you put all those things together and you're left with just a great distance running, trail running shoe. I've got to say, it's great to be back in the Speedgoats, and with some longer races on the horizon, at the moment it is definitely my race day shoe of choice. So there you have it, folks, my current running shoe rotation, whether I be training on the roads or training on the trails. I've actually done a full in-depth review on all the shoes that have featured in the video today. So what I've done is I've left a link in the description below for all those videos if you want to find out any more information. It would be great to hear from you guys as well about your current rotation. So, you know, what shoes are you reaching for those faster, quicker road sessions? What are you wearing for those longer, slower trail runs? Let us know all about it in the comments below. We've got a busy week ahead of us. We are just preparing to go away racing this weekend. Really looking forward to getting away camping with good friends. And like I say, we're going to be racing, but it is racing with a difference. So we'll let you know more about that very soon. Don't forget, you can also follow us on our other social media platforms, whether it be Instagram, Facebook or Strava. And if you are enjoying the content that we're producing and you want to support the channel, we've also got a great selection of merchandise available at Run4Adventure.uk. Everything from beanies, t-shirts, hoodies and some really cool looking multi-wraps. You can also support us now through our Patreon page for as little as £2 a month. This really does help us out, especially now we've gone full time, but it also opens up a world of Run4Adventure perks. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching. It's always appreciated. We will be back here very soon. And as always, stay safe and keep on running. So there it is, folks, my current shoe rotation. Shorter, faster sessions on the road. What are you wearing for those longer, slower trail runs? Let us know all about it in the... We got a pretty busy week ahead of us because we are...